What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Stop the Madness. This is episode number 2. I am your host, The Kid Plot. It's my co-host, Isaac Cotto.
What's up, what's up?
What are we talking about today?
Bro, I'm going to tell you a story.
Okay.
I actually was able to get 370 for the first time ever.
Bench press?
Yes, 470. I mean, it's not 505 or 515.
Hey, that's a round of applause, though, baby.
370 is not bad for 47.
That's great for any age. Hell yeah.
The goal is 400 and I'm done.
Shit.
Even if I get to 400 for like 2 or 3 weeks and then I never hit it again, I just want to be able to say I did it one time.
Bro, that's good money.
That's a lot of weight, my man.
Hell yeah, it is.
A lot of weight. All right. So what's going on? Today, there's a few topics.
Okay.
Particular one we wanted to jump on, and as an athlete, you're an athlete. You've trained. How many years you've been training?
Wow, 18.
18 years. All right, that's a long time. So I've been an athlete all my life, high school sports and jiu-jitsu and all this kind of stuff. And I made a few videos that's on the channel about the unfairness of the transgender male athlete competing against females.
Right.
So we checked out a video earlier today about, it was a high school competition. Mm-hmm. And the 2 videos I posted was one was about a marathon runner, some older guy. He's competed as a man in like a bunch of years, 15 years, and he goes to London, competes in the London Marathon as a female dressed up, and he beats out 13 or 14,000 females, right?
Wow.
That was that one scenario. The other one is a very well-known case. Riley Gaines is the female champion, NCAA champion, and all of a sudden someone just shows up on the scene. They never heard of this person, kicking ass, and she's like, man, who the fuck is this? Who is this? Sure enough, it's a guy that competed as a male, sucked as a male, comes and starts breaking records in the collegiate level as a swimmer. All right. Yeah. And he's still, you look at him, it's a male. Yeah. He changes in the girls' locker room, still all his male parts.
Wow.
That's at the college level, right? Yeah. And this older guy, we're talking about, adults. But the video we looked at was about a high school level competition in California.
Athena Ryan.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And you know what's funny? I think, was it Jim Carrey?
Love Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey with In Living Color. Mm-hmm. He did a skit.
You went back.
Yes. But he did a skit about Athena, the goddess or something. And it's he's chained up and he's Athena. He's like, oh, and they take off his bra or whatever. And the joke is, it's a dude. Mm-hmm. That's the whole joke, right?
Right.
So you have Athena, this high school athlete, apparently a state competition. What was it? The top 3? Or
the top. So the top 3 move on to the state championships.
All right. So you go
in California.
You go through the whole season competing. Yeah. You're working for this moment. Top 3 go to the state championship. Right. And again, we're talking about a teenager. Yeah. We're not talking about an adult.
18 years old.
18,
that's how old he is.
Okay. So a senior, basically. She. Comes in second place. Doesn't even come in first, right? But that knocks off a legitimate 4th place contestant that was a biological female.
Right. I'm gonna be respectful. I mean, if he wants to be called she, I'm gonna call her she. That's fine. But
I have no problem.
Again, my issue with the whole situation is, you ruined the opportunity of that 4th place finisher to not have a chance to compete in the state championships because you took the place of a biological woman when you're not a biological woman. I believe that whatever the rule in any sporting event and any sport in general, you should compete based on what you were born as biologically. Whatever you were born, that's what you compete in. I don't think you shouldn't compete based on what you identify as. You should compete based on what you were born as. I think that's fair because right now there's just too much going on in away from sports, but including sports where the disadvantage is just ridiculous because why is it that we don't see it from the other side? Why is it that we don't see women transition to men competing against men? Because they know they're gonna get their ass kicked. Right. But from the other way around, they're doing it because they know that they can go from last to being a top finisher. I mean, it's actually a little bit embarrassing that he didn't even get, or she didn't even get first place. She got second place. The biological male got second place in this contest. if you in the video got annihilated by a biological woman in this track meet.
And that
So
goes to, I mean, so,
you're not even that good anyway.
so that's what I'm saying. Like, how in good faith as an athlete, we're talking
Right.
in the world of athletics,
Yeah.
as a competitor, right? You want to win. I don't know how in good faith, and I've said this before, how in good faith do you accept that first place medal, that second place medal, when you know there's an advantage? There's a clear advantage.
You can't feel good about that victory, that second place.
Okay.
You have to know that you have to. I don't know how. I mean, I'm not in their body, but I would think that I would feel like I cheated.
I agree with you 100%. Now the question is though.
Yeah.
You know, this is a kid, right?
Yeah.
It might have just turned, if they're still in high school, he
Yeah.
might have just turned,
That's just turned 18.
But 17, 16 is a kid,
Yeah.
right? What role does the parents play
It's a very good question.
in that scenario, right?
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
if my child came to me and said, you know, I have daughters, and my daughter said, you know, Pa, I think I feel with all my heart and soul, I'm a man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can't make them think differently. But coño, when you talk about athletics, man, you can't play with that. You can't just switch it up. Like, if you're a male, but you in your heart and soul, for whatever, believe you're a female, which is fine.
Yeah. No problem at all.
Athletically, you just can't go and walk in and start taking spots and dominating.
You see, that's what I mean, and it has to do with the convenience. How convenient is it that the men that want to transition because they feel like they were born in the wrong body want to compete in women athletics, but yet if the women that transition to men, right, cause they don't feel like they should be a woman, is very convenient because if you move this to like prison, if they could get convicted of some type of crime, right, and they go to jail, the biological women that transition to males, they don't want to be incarcerated with men.
Right.
They don't. They would rather be with women. You see what I'm saying? And then the other way around. Even the men that were born biologically men, especially that transition to women, they don't want you to put them in the male cell. They want you to put them in the women's cell, even though they transition to a man. You see that even more than the other way around that I just mentioned.
Right.
Because they're like, yo, I'm gonna get. But what's the problem? Like, don't you want to be a man? Don't you want to be identified as a man? So this is part of being a man, right? So it's only by convenience. Whatever benefits them at that point in time is what they're gonna go for.
I think athletics, you know, I think all those other become real messy, right? Like when it comes to employment, hey, we need to hire a female, and say they hire a transgender female, someone who's male, and you can make the argument like, oh, they took the spot that should have been for a female, right? But when it comes to athletics, especially like to your point, a female boxer will not transition to a male
and compete
against male boxers because there's no hope.
Because there's not convenient.
There's no help.
They acknowledge the difference there, but they don't want to acknowledge the difference the other way around.
The switch,
the double standard is ridiculous.
You can't play.
The double standard is ridiculous.
I struggle. I just want to know, what is a conversation between the parents? Like, if I am, you know, I'm taking my daughter to practice. I'm paying for extra training. I'm paying for her coaching, late night study, and Joe Blow comes with his biological male child to compete against my female child, and is gonna win. Like, I would have a big problem.
Yeah,
that would be a major issue for me.
I mean, well, you know, you can almost say that it's indoctrination. Like, you got to start young, and you never know. I mean, you don't know how that person was raised, and this can be a good segue to our next topic.
You read my mind.
The indoctrination is where it starts from. The younger you start, the sooner it becomes and the more normal it becomes for that person when they get older, even though it's not normal to the great majority of the population.
And you know what, Ply, I'll give you credit. To your credit, you know, when we were starting out, you said, look, you know, I'm not a political person. I'm not a fan.
Yeah, I don't like getting into that.
Politics. But to your credit, man, like there's just certain issues that to me seem, how you say, it's just clear and obvious, whereas like, hey, there's something going on here that's off. like what we're going to talk about when it comes to Target.
Oh my God.
Putting transgender clothing and
Kids clothing,
coloring books that are geared to transgender issues to children, minor children.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, Target is a publicly traded company, millions of customers, and I would say the customer base that represents the transgender community is less than 1%, right? But yet, why? I just don't understand why what is the theory or the thinking behind putting out clothing, material, coloring books. I
don't get that either. I mean, I just feel like it seems like they're just trying to appease a certain group, which is the LGBTQ community. They're trying to appease them by showing that, hey, we're on your side, we support you. But in reality, I mean, clearly it's bad for business, and they're a business. You know what I mean? And
apparently they lost $9 billion.
$9 billion because of that. So it's like, it's not a smart business move because you're catering to a very small group, a very small minority of people.
Minuscule. Tiny.
So I don't see what the end game is. I don't see what the purpose is. I don't know. I wish I could speak to the owner or whoever does their marketing, whoever's in charge of it.
The CEO of Target came out defending their position, right?
Yeah.
And Patrick Bet-David talked about it and said, look, if you're the board of Target, you need to fire the CEO. You need to fire whoever's doing your marketing.
Terrible decision.
Because your customer base is talking, and you lost $9 billion in value for what?
You're losing customers. Isn't the goal to gain customers?
Yes.
To make money? The goal is not to lose money. I can promise you that. I think anybody with a little bit of common sense will know that.
My mother-in-law was here visiting, and she was at Publix, and she was buying beer, and she called me FaceTime. Was like, hey, what kind of beer you want? She didn't know my taste in beer, and she put Bud Light, and I was like, you're not buying Bud Light. Like, no, not because I don't drink, but ever since Bud Light also jumped on the train.
They did the same. They were on the same train.
I was like, no. And guess what?
Yeah.
They've lost 30% in value.
Oh, my God.
They're doing that. So it's one of those things. I don't understand.
30% is a lot, bro.
I think a transgender person is entitled to legal rights.
Absolutely.
They should not be denied representation.
Agreed.
This, that, the other.
Right.
But there's the part of the feeling of indoctrination towards kids is a big struggle. But now, let me ask you this. You've been around the bodybuilding world, right? It is known that female bodybuilders, powerlifters take all kinds of chemicals, testosterone, and they there's some that become ultra manly.
Very masculine.
Voice, body. Yeah. I was seeing on Instagram, I guess she's a Brazilian a bodybuilder, and when I first saw the image of her doing curls, I thought it was an ugly dude, right? And sure enough, you go and she got a kid. Like it was a female. Completely shocked. Now, in that world, do those females, even at that level, do they compete against males?
No, not at all. And a lot of those women take as much steroids as a man does. They take the same type of steroids that men do. That's why they start to gain these masculine features. They start looking like men. They start sounding like men. I mean, to be honest with you, I've heard of cases of women's clitoris growing so much that it starts almost looking like a little penis, because that's what happens.
Yeah, I heard that too.
And
but they don't compete against men.
Well, of course not, because they're never going to be able to compete against another man that's doing the same thing as them, because a man is still biologically a man. He's biologically going to have a more bone density. He's going to be able to pack on more muscle because naturally their testosterone is just higher. I don't care how much testosterone you inject as a female, you're never going to have the body of a man. It's just not going to happen. It's not in your DNA.
It's just not going to happen.
It's just impossible. We weren't created that way. You know what I mean? You're fighting God's way.
Right.
It's not gonna happen.
No, I mean, I think, adults, if you make an adult decision, but when it comes to the kids.
Yeah, you can't, you're forcing a mindset, you're forcing your viewpoints on a child that you have you shouldn't have any say in their life. Their parents should have, and even their parents, you know, if you're the kid's parent, it's your job to raise them and keep them safe, right? But at the end of the day, people say, oh, these are my kids, I can raise them how I want. This is true, but let me ask you this. If you start raping your son, you think child services is not going to take your child away? Because at the end of the day, the government still protects their child even from their own parents. If their parents aren't doing their job, they take your kid away. If you start graping your child, I messed up, right? If you start graping your child, you're gonna lose your kids. If you physically abuse your child to the point where you're putting their life at risk because you're whooping their behind whenever they don't listen, take them away. So this is a form of protecting them even from parents. So if they can protect their kids, the kids from their own parents from that, they can protect you. They should have that in place where, hey, listen, you know, this is not a normal way of raising a child where you're forcing a mindset on a child that doesn't even know barely right from wrong yet.
Yeah, I just think about like a locker room, you know, a high school locker room. You know, I got my high school daughter. You know, like, you know, not everybody's comfortable taking over and there's a male
with a penis walking around,
and because he truly believes, which is not the
with a whole dick walking around the whole locker room,
all outdoors.
Come on,
and he
man.
thinks he's a female, but I gotta subject my child to that. Like, man, like it's hard enough to protect them against straight guys. Like, you know, just the whole issue of the exposure. I think is and that's why Target's losing billions, Bud Light's losing billions. And the issue in sports is only going to get bigger and bigger. Like, and I just wonder how, and I said it in a prior video, how far back do you go? So, softball, you know, 10, 12-year-olds, like, or girls basketball. Like, what if the Jane is, you know, clearly a male? I'm gonna have that person competing against my daughter. I'm gonna have a problem with that. Like, it's only gonna get more and more traction.
And I just want to be clear. Like, I have nothing against these people. Like, if they feel that they're in the wrong body and they're not a woman, they want to be a man, they feel like they're not a man, they should have been a woman, that's fine. That's their prerogative. But as far as forcing it on the kids is the main issue. I don't think me and you both agree. That's their business. They can do what they want as far as with themselves and what they want to identify as, right? But I believe in God. I'm not the most religious person in the world, but I do believe in God, and I believe God is perfect. And I don't think he made a mistake with what you were born as. I think the issue is more with the individual, but that's my opinion. You see what I'm saying? Like, I think that has to do more with something going on psychologically within yourself, because I don't believe God made a mistake when you were born a man or a woman. That's just my opinion.
That's where the issue between the adults and the kids come into play, right? So adult, you make your own
decision. At that point, you do what you want.
And you deal with it. Right. When it comes to the kids, like, right. I know for a fact they are young kids that act super feminine, and you know, they may be 100% gay, and they feel that way, but that doesn't mean all of a sudden now, because you have a child that has that issue or feels that way, now all of a sudden I gotta accept your male child thinks he's a woman. Let him compete with my daughter. No.
And then you're pushing the agenda with clothes, with little kids' clothes, saying queer is okay and all this stuff to a child.
Hey, create a transgender store. Create a transgender line. An online store. Hey, create transgender sports. You might have 10 competitors at the end of the day, but let me
tell you something. If they did a transgender sport, it would not make any revenue. Let me tell you why. If you compare, let's talk about just men and women, which is the more normal topic. If you look at men's sports versus women's sports, you have a clear difference. There's a big discrepancy in profit for one versus the other. WNBA doesn't make nowhere near the amount of money that the NBA makes.
I don't think it even makes money. I think the NBA supports them, actually.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I mean. Like, a lot of the WNBA players, I think the average salary is like
$60K.
It's like $60K. Like, the best players in the league
might get six figures.
Might get like like 150, 200,000, maybe somewhere around there. I think the last time I read it, maybe it went up, but it's not anywhere close to what these NBA players are about to make in this next deal. Like, 5-year, $300 million now. They're up to the
$60 million a year,
almost $60 million a year. You see what I'm saying? So, and that's not even for the best of the best. I just saw Jaylen Brown for the Celtics has the possibility of signing a 5-year,
and they're gonna give him that
$295 million contract. $295, that's $59 million a year, and he's not even the best player in the league. He's so probably a top 25 player, top 20 player.
That's so crazy.
So the point that I'm trying to make is that the difference between men and women is huge. What do you think will happen when you add transgender? You're not gonna have that many fans because it's a small population.
No, it's not even about fans. It's
just support in general.
If you want to compete, like, make a category, create your own league, it could be adults, or,
well, here's the thing. The reason why they don't want to do that, I think we both know, it's pretty obvious. The reason why they don't want to do that is because they don't want to be separated. They don't want to be included. They don't want to be considered transgender. They want to be considered a woman or a man. That's it. That's what it is. They don't want to be considered a separate entity or a separate person. You know what I'm saying?
They got a long road ahead of them. I don't think that's going away anytime soon.
No, of course not.
But the next thing we were going to talk about was it was regarding a TikToker.
Oh my God!
Now let me tell you, bro. I think the very first YouTube videos I started watching all the time were these prank videos where the dudes would dress up. And nothing against Middle Eastern folks, but some dude would dress up like in the whole Middle Eastern outfit with a bag and run up to a group of guys and just drop a bag and run away. And then all of a sudden the dudes would like take off and it would like run, and then everybody's like just like jumping over each other, whatever. And it was the implication of like, oh, there's a bomb or something like that, and I cracked up or whatever. So I can understand a prank, but there's this TikToker. What was his name? Mizzy out of London. He was on the Piers Morgan show. Man, this is how people get shot, killed, stabbed. I've seen some on YouTube where guys are like in like the hood. He's from
Stoke Newington, North London.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've seen where guys are like, in the hood and be like, let's say something like, hey, like you staring at me hard, bro? And like just like and something, it might be like a bag of chips, like it's called staring at me hard or something like that. It's like, oh no, I just wanted to give you some staring at me hard. Like that's an example. But like dudes, like they're grabbing them, like they're about to shoot them. One dude pulled out a gun. He's like, hey, it's a joke. Man, putting your life on the line.
Yeah.
And so apparently this dude, as part of his pranks, breaking in, like going into people's houses.
Bro, he's risking his life.
Now, you know what? In London, not everybody carry guns.
Yeah.
Also, because it did that shit out here.
Yeah, I've been to London before too, and you're right.
They don't carry guns like they do here.
Not here, not like they do.
Bro, imagine, I'm upstairs and I hear my wife scream, like there's a random. Man, he's catching a bullet. Like there's just no way. Bullet, beat down, and then call the cops. There's just no way he gets out of my house unscathed. And so he's breaking in. The other thing I was thinking about, what if he goes into a house of a person who was a victim of a sexual assault, or like the traumatic event of having some stranger just walk into your house. Man,
yeah. In the video that we saw, I mean, the kid walks in to the guy's house, and the father walks up the stairs. He's in the basement. He walks up the stairs. He's like, "Who the hell are you? What are you doing?" He's lucky that this guy just reacted like a little bit more of a shock, like "Get the hell out of my house," and not more violently like most people would probably act. Most people would probably just come up and say, "Yo, who the fuck are you, bro?" and shoot this dude.
Yeah, out of fear, like
because you don't know what house. Right? Yeah. Like, who the hell are you up in my house?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you trying to rob me? What are you trying to do?
No, man, he's asking for something to happen.
And all that for clicks and likes. Ridiculous.
There was another one. He goes up to an old lady and takes her small dog and runs off with it. And I'm like,
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
bro, like,
Yo, if you would have did that to like my mom, bro, I would have
Or
been
my
trying to find out. I would have tried to find out where you live.
right? It's like
Straight
you're
up.
just asking, and I don't know
Straight
how
up.
it hasn't happened already. That he hasn't caught a beat down, but there's just no way you can do like.
He got fined, I think, like 300,000 pounds or something like that.
I think it was 350 pounds, was probably like 500 bucks.
Was it 350 pounds? 300,000 pounds.
No,
350. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
350 pounds, which is nothing. Slap on the wrist, something like you can. But I just don't understand. I understand pranks; they're cool, they can be funny. But when you really can cause harm to someone or put you, I think it's dumb when you put yourself in danger.
There was a guy also that he pranked. It was a Jewish guy. He was standing right there on the side of the road. I don't know if he was waiting for the bus or something like that. And it was supposedly a trend on TikTok where you just jump, you kind of like catapult over somebody's head. And he did it to this guy. And this guy looked like he was in his maybe late 50s, early 60s. Jumped over the dude's head, pushed him into the street because he didn't even jump over him because the guy kind of went forward when he tried to trampoline over him. Went into the middle of the street. What if there was a car coming by?
Oh my God. No,
and the guy would have got hit by a car because of you trying to be an idiot.
No,
Yo,
I
people
mean,
like that. See, I don't have a problem with people doing pranks. Prank your friends. How about you prank your homies?
right.
Like one of my good friends, Mighty Duck. Mighty Duck is one of my good friends, right? That's how he made his name with social media. He was pranking people, but the people he was pranking were his friends. He wasn't pranking no stranger that he didn't know. He was pranking his homeboys. So go ahead and prank your homeboys, but don't be pranking strangers because strangers don't know you like that.
And you know, you can do pranks to strangers, but coño, man, there has to. Okay, the late night talk shows, right? They do pranks all the time to like people on the street, like, hey, what do you think of 50 Cent? Oh,
Yeah, but
50 Cent's a piece of shit.
but that's a-
and 50 Cent behind.
Yeah, but
like, there's no harm, no foul.
There's no harm. There's a harmless prank.
Yeah, but man, when you as the prankster, putting your life on the line, like literally, if I'm in the hood trying to act like, you know, I'm causing trouble, but I don't want to cause trouble. I'm asking to get shot.
Yeah.
I home invade, like literally. I don't understand.
Yo, that kid.
The laws in London. But if you break into someone's house. You break into someone's house, like
That's what it is.
You catching charges.
Catching charges. That kid Mizzy, he like Piers Morgan asked him how's his relationship with his mom, and he's like, we don't talk. And then he finally came out in an interview saying, no, my mom won't talk to me. She doesn't agree with what I do. Like, this is a problem.
Let me ask you this.
That's the issue, bro.
So you said this dude already went viral, right?
He went viral multiple times. I mean, I think his Instagram is banned. He can't even. I don't know about his TikTok, but his IG is banned. He's not on IG anymore at all.
Is TikTok cutting him a check?
TikTok pays. Yeah, TikTok pays for Reels. Okay. Yeah. Oh, not Reels. They pay for the TikTok videos.
Right.
Reels is Instagram. Sorry.
I mean, is it like is this guy making bank off this? Like,
I don't know how much he makes, but you get paid, you know, a good amount of money, and he puts out a lot of content. So, you know, at the end of the day, even if you put it this way, I mean, even if you make, I don't know, let's say you make, you know, $1,000 a video, right?
Mm-hmm. He does 10 videos a week.
You're doing 10 videos a week. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, for sure. It adds up.
You know what I'm saying?
But even still, man, there's certain. I saw one where the guy jumped out the plane to crash the plane, but he's looking at some serious charges now for doing that. But okay.
Yes. So he's facing jail time.
Yeah.
I think it was like 20 years in jail for crashing a plane for a freaking video online.
Crashing a fucking plane, like you could kill someone, destroy a house, or if it's in protected land, like it's a plane.
Who are we right now, bro? What year is this?
Bro, I remember I took a ride in a tiny helicopter. The shit was like $400,000, and it's a tiny helicopter. Those Cessnas, I mean, we're for $500,000-$600,000 planes, and he just jumped out just to get clicks, likes, and
and popularity,
bro. There's just no way.
I mean, some people become famous with actual talent, and some people become famous for being idiots. Yeah. It is what it is.
There's Kim Kardashian, right? She did became pretty famous. So I don't know what.
Hey man, listen, the Kardashian gang will come after you. Don't do it.
My wife loves Mom Kardashian.
Don't do it. They gonna come get you.
She loves Mom Kardashian, and I agree. I think she's one of the smartest businesswomen in the game.
Yeah, agree.
The empire that woman's created with her daughters.
Yep.
All the respect. Yep. All the respect to them. But anyway, my peoples, we're gonna wrap it up. Episode 2 is in the books, and we see you next week.
Make sure y'all like and subscribe to this channel, like the video, share this video, comment on this video.
Please
Let us
comment.
know. Let us know
Let's
what y'all
have this
think.
discussion. We're all
Yes.
about it. Peace.
We out. Peace.